We're going to go over Claude Code's kind of leaking of their code. We're going to do a little bit more exploration of what people are kind of pulling out from it. The reason why I'm not going over the code myself on stream or even on my computer is that it does appear that Claude, one of their favorite activities right now, is DMCAing people. In fact, they've DMCA'd people so heavily, some of these Claude codes are just forks of their repo. There is several people right now on Twitter being like, yo, I'm getting DMCA takedown for forking the Claude code repo, right? And so that's because what ended up happening is that someone released the code and it got 50,000 forks. And so it's like, they're just, anyone with the word Claude code in it is getting DMCA. What a Digital Media Censorship Act? I don't know what DMCA stands for, but effectively what DMCA is that you can do a takedown request. Does DMCA apply outside the US? I assume it applies to everything on GitHub. Digital Millennium Copyright Act. Dude, I hate millenniums. All of them. Digital Millennium Falcon Copyright Act. All right, anyway, so just a thing to keep in mind. That's why we're going to just kind of go over the comments. I don't want to get, like, honestly, I don't want to have to deal with Anthropic's lawyers. I already did a YouTube video where I showed one of the markdown files and then someone took a picture of the code and put it on Twitter and I showed that. But honestly, like, there's just a chance that later today I'm going to get hit with a cease and desist on YouTube, which will cost me one of my 3 available strikes before my YouTube channel gets deleted. That's why I'm generally, I'm decently hesitant about going through things because, I don't want lawyers coming after me. So I spent some time going through the Claude Code source, expecting a smarter terminal assistant. What I found instead feels closer to a fully instrumented system that observes how you behave while you're using it. I'm not saying it's shady. It's dude, whenever someone says that and it involves surveillance of any kind, it just reminds me of the what's it called, where people go, I don't mind being surveilled. Okay, I got nothing to hide. But the level of tracking and classification is much deeper than most people probably assume. Here are some things that stood out. 1, it classifies the language using simple keywords. I've seen this. This part surprised me. It's not deep AI understanding. Yes. Dude, I love that if you say shit, fuck, or pissed off, it's just like, oh, this person's negative. These trigger negative sentiment flags. Even phrases like continue, go on, keep going are tracked. Yes, they're like positive, keep doing. It's basically a regex level classification. Yeah, someone put that on the internet. They also consider a bad word. Are you ready for this bad word? They consider pee-pee and poo-poo. So if you say pee or poo, not poop, poo. Naughty, naughty, naughty. That is a very poo, yes. Let's see, it tracks hesitation during permission prompts. This is where it gets interesting. When a permission dialog shows up, it doesn't just log your final decision, it tracks how you behave. Did you open the feedback box? Did you close it? Did you hit escape without typing anything? Did you type something and then cancel it? Internal events have names like Tengu accept feedback mode entered. Yeah, I saw some things about this. I didn't really quite understand it. So they track how you behave. I mean, I think the simple answer to all of this is that they're using this as a means to train future versions of Claude. That's my guess. Of like, how many questions is too many questions? How many permissions is too many? When should you just default to doing something simpler as opposed to doing full exploration? That's my guess. Like, that's me being charitable. It even counts how many times you try you try to escape. It can tell the difference between I clicked no quickly. I clicked no quickly. I hesitated, typed something, then rejected it. Oh, okay. So if you just go no quickly, bam. It's like, okay, they knew exactly versus, okay, they actually thought about it. Feedback flow is designed to capture bad experiences. The feedback system is not random. It triggers based on pacing rules, cooldowns, and probabilities. If you mark something bad, it can prompt you to run issue. It nudges you to share your session transcript. And if you agree, it can include your main transcripts, sub-agent transcripts, sometimes raw JSON log files with redactions, supposedly. I wouldn't trust the redactions too hard. There are the hidden trigger words that change behavior. I saw this as well, which is that there's ultra think, which they said doesn't matter. I thought I've been reliably told that ultra think does nothing. We don't want to share our secret sauce. Now we know why. Yeah, the sauce ain't that good. Ultra plan kicks off remote planning mode. Similar idea, but for review. Ultra view, by the way, spins up a sub agent. So the main flow continues. The input box parsing, these live while you type. Telemetry captures full environment profile, session IDs, container IDs, workspace paths, repo hashes, runtime platform details, GitHub actions, context, remote session IDs. I mean, that's not too surprising. I would assume that they're having pretty precise tracking so they know how to attribute each project and how it's going, right? Not horribly confused by that one. All right, MCP command can expose environmental data. Yeah, I saw this as well. I saw this one as well, that if you do MCP, it actually goes out and just like prints out everything. My assumption is that this right here will be used in an exploit. Like if you have MCPs, somehow somebody's going to create an MCP that's super, super nice. Then somehow at some point, someone's going to take over the MCP, much like Axios, and then use this as a means to capture all of your information. That's just my assumption. It's a government backdoor. We already screwed on that one. Yeah, all your creds now belong to us, and you're not even gonna notice it. Internal builds go even deeper. There's a user. Okay, I saw this as well. Okay, so this seems to be like a respouting of things I've already seen, but we'll go over them anyways. That's Anthropic. So this is kind of weird. So Kubernetes. Okay, this also makes sense. If you're one of these users, it should do all these things. This makes perfect sense. You're an internal user of Anthropic. It's gonna capture every possible kind of understanding of who you are, so that way it can probably do the best kind of debugging. That makes perfect sense. All of this gets logged under internal telemetry events, meaning behavior can be tied back to a very specific deployment environment. Overall takeaway: language is classified in real time. UI interactions, hesitations are tracked. Feedback loop is actively funneled into reports. Hidden commands change behavior. Runtime environments is fingerprinted. It's not just a chatbot. It's a highly instrumented system observing how you interact with it. I assume it's all like the charitable event again is just, I assume this is all in an effort to train next version of Claude to behave in a certain way, or to change how they do their agent harness in real time. Okay, yes. Okay, so this is the one that I read. I read the tweet that was associated with that. Okay, so this is just a redoing of all that. Okay, yeah, we already saw that. So let's go to, I want to know about this one. Fake tools. I want to know about fake tools, because that kind of seems funny that there's a fake tools one. Okay, so it is this one. Oh, I don't know if you guys saw this one. This is actually kind of, I'm not really happy about this, to tell you the truth. I know I mentioned it in the video that I released last night, but the idea that we're getting like gotcha styled stuff inside of Claude Code, honestly, not super happy about that. You know what I mean? Do we really want gotcha style stuff? Do we really want pets? Do we really want shiny? Do we really need legendary drops? Gotta catch them all. I know that you guys you jokingly want it, but do you really want that? I'm a millennial. I don't know what gotcha means. Well, actually, millennials are like the chief market of gotcha. I don't know where gotcha exactly comes from, but just think of any game that involves you having to, you have like an unlockable item in which has a random variety in which you can get legendary all the way down to something small. It's gambling. Okay. Japan. Okay. Japanese game stores. Okay. It's a Japanese thing. Yeah. Gotcha the clown. All right. So we've kind of seen this one. This one's, dude, a buddy system, a Tamagotchi style companion creature system with ASCII sprites. Uncover mode. Yeah. Did you see okay. Now this is the weirdest part. I know I mentioned this in the video I was doing, but this part has to be just the strangest thing of them all. You have a mode that knows you're an Anthropic employee, and if you're working on open source, it tells itself and prompts itself to leave absolutely no traces that Claude Code was used. Why? Can anybody give me some sort of reasoning that makes some sort of sense? No liability? It maybe, but sounds nefarious, because even it's so good they want to hide it. It only seems nefarious. Exactly. Like, it just seems bad. Can we all agree, boys? It just seems a little strange. Like, when I hear someone being like, oh, avoid anti-AI filtering. Yeah, but why? Okay, then why all Anthropic employees? Like, that seems weird also. Like, you don't have to do, you do know that if you want to hide AI, it's actually really easy. You just git commit amend. You just change a little bit of the history, and you don't put up a stupid description that's like, rocket ship, we fixed a bug, happy emoji. Hey fellas, guess what? I've decided to put my nose to the grindstone and come out with an excellent feature set change that you did not ask for. But don't worry, fellas, I got it for you. Here's a list of changes. Table, horizontal line break. You just don't have to do that. M dashes, right? You just don't have to do that. Did you try Buddy yet? Again, I don't use Anthropic. I've kind of talked about this. I canceled my only plan to it a while ago. I think that they're a bit too adversarial, right? I think that I genuinely don't think that they like you. I think that they think you, the user, is dangerous. And I think that if they could, they want to regulate you. Like, they think that you're too dangerous to have these things. That's kind of how I feel about Claude. I feel like they look down on me and they look down on you, and they really don't like you. To avoid leaking internal tools, yeah, I mean, there is some internal tools, but that's different, right? Like, hey, so this is what I originally thought it was, but that's not what they say, right? They also say, don't mention you're an AI. Don't mention anything about you. Don't mention anything, right? Like, it's like, I totally get, like, don't mention internal services. Don't mention any of that stuff. Totally get that. That's totally cool. but to also say like, make sure that nobody thinks you're an AI. Just saying, little weird. Little weird. Amusingly, they deprecated it with a message of unpublished instead of actually publishing it. Oh yeah, this is kind of interesting, right? Because this is NPM. So you can't delete NPM stuff, but apparently you were able to unpublish it. You can't unpublish a package with 100 or more downloads, I think. Yeah, there's some sort of rule where you can't, but apparently Anthropic can. Apparently Anthropic is allowed to do that. My guess is that they did a DMCA takedown. They threatened some sort of lawyer against NPM, so NPM had to do something. I really don't know how that worked, right? Anthropic gave them an offer NPM couldn't refuse. Yes, Anthropic was just like, all right, I see what you've done. Well, and by you, I mean me. I've seen a lot. I don't know what you guys know about the code quality. I haven't looked at the code quality. All right, so this is the one that I saw that was just like probably the most scathing review of it all. And if anybody has any more of these, I would love to hear more about this. Again, I have not looked at Anthropic code. I don't want to have to do all that, so I'll look at anybody telling me about it. But I already know that it's going to be a slop factory, and so I'm not too surprised. So this is the single worst function in the code base by every metric. 3,100 lines long, so it's a single function. Print.ts is one function. Okay, now I want to look at the code. Okay, I changed my mind completely. Now I got to look at the code. There ain't no way, right? There's no way this is true. Can we agree to that? All right, so a single function, 3,100 lines long, 12 levels of nesting at its deepest, 486 branch points. For those that don't know, cyclomatic complexity. Yeah, let's go like this, right? So if I did, right, if I just did that, this technically has like a cyclomatic complexity of 2 because you have to take all the stuff from here into here. Also, cyclomatic complexity would be in an if statement. An if statement right here is a cyclomatic complexity of 2, right? 1 for the function, 2 for this. So effectively every time you create a scope, which if for those that are, I know there's a lot of rookie programmers in here, anytime you create a scope, that is just anything between little squirrely brackets, that increases your cyclomatic complexity by 1. So typically, you should never really, like, in any handwritten normal code, it is really strange to see something like this, right? That right there, we're at 4. Like, this is 5, okay? Just to kind of put it in perspective, this is what 5 looks like, all right? So let's take this, and let's put it in here. All right, so let's see, hold on. This is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. Okay, so we're still not there yet. Let's do it once more. 8, 9, 10. We're still not there yet. 11, 12. Okay, so this is where Anthropic is. There you go. That's where Anthropic is. Sometimes people don't realize like how big 12 is, but people don't realize like what that means. And here's the thing is that when you see something that's also 3,100 lines of code long, it's not just, oh yeah, I can look right away and see that this thing's way too indented. You got to remember that you're going to have functions that are inside of here, literally hundreds of lines of code with if statements that are deep inside of there. There could be closures in closures being created, right? Like it would be impossible for any normal human to look at. Like you actually couldn't read it. Also, just to put it into perspective, there we go. My entire helicopter game is 40,000 lines of code. And this is his helicopter game. That is 10 times larger than the print function. 10 times larger. That is it. The print function represents approximately 1/10 of that game. It does hurt a little bit, right? Gary Tan can make 2 of those games a week. True. Gary Tan could make 2 of those games a week. Getting line mogged. Honestly, I do love getting line mogged. All right. So this is crazy. This is insane. 400. Just think about that. Like you can't even write tests to really make sense of that. Because remember, every single time there's a branch with a branch inside of it, the amount of different things you have to test go up by 2. So like, just pretend you have an if statement, right? Let's just pretend you have a function and you have a single if statement. This right here, remember, to like cover this function, you have to be able to have it hit the positive and the negative case. So if you have an if statement inside of here, you now have to hit the positive, the negative, the positive, and then the positive. And then you have to hit the negative case, And then if that has stuff, you have to hit the negative, you have to hit the negative positive and the negative negative. So it doesn't just go up by one. It's not like, oh, you have one more branch point, therefore you have one more thing to test. You could possibly have things that are like combinatoric to the universe. You could have 1,000 different possibilities just for like a few lines of code. It actually gets kind of crazy. It gets exponential really quick. Do you think code like that's get tested? I assume they have tests for it, yes. I have enough respect for Anthropic to know that it should. The function have 12 parameters plus an optional object with 16 subproperties. That's impressive. Bro hates polymorphism. Yo, polymorphism sucks. Ain't no way I'm ever gonna polymorphism on this, okay? There's no way that we'd ever allow such things in this household, okay? In this household, we would never do such things. Defines 21 inner functions and closures. No wonder they can't do 60 frames a second. Honestly, no wonder you can't do 60 frames a second. That garbage collector has to be going hog wild. I bet if you profiled it, it's spending probably 10% of its time just sitting in garbage collection. That seems crazy. All right, handles. Agent, run loop, sig int, rate. It's weird that they handle sig int too. I mean, I guess it makes, well, actually it's weird. AWS auth. Okay, that's confusing. MCP lifecycle, plugin, install, refresh. Why does it handle that? I am so confused how it, like, why is AWS auth its own path? Okay, so we're programmers here. So typically, if you're making like a print function or some sort of interaction type function, you usually kind of design it into components. And so you'd have some sort of like ask in which would take in, you know, your grab bag of parameters that would kind of print out what you needed to print out. Just generally speaking, that it works like 90% of the time. Sometimes you have to do a couple different things, right? Like sometimes we've all been here, fellas. We've all been here. You know it. There's an ask to, okay? There's an ask to. But just to have like this print function has individual handling for AWS auth, MPC lifecycles, plugin install refresh, work tree bridging, team lead polling, while true inside. Nice. Let's go. Control message dispatch, model switching. How does print handle model switching? I don't even know what that, like, honestly, when you say that, I don't even know what that means. Like, I don't even know how I don't know how to handle auth via a print function, okay? That's awesome. Feels like a tweet, honestly. Feels like a tweet. Today I learned auth is handled via a print function. Now, should I add in Anthropic or Claude code or just right here? Because it is very, like, it's very punchy and it's very confusing in its own state. I actually kind of, you know what? I'm going to leave it like this because it's actually more confusing and disorienting to read. It's so disorienting, right? You're just like, how, what? Print function, what? Print function, what? What? Anyways, I love this. This should be a minimum of 8 to 10 separate modules. Here's another gem from Termio osc.tsc. All right, exec file no throw. WL copy, nice. Hey, WL copy, hey. I appreciate that. I appreciate you, WL copy. You're a good guy. All right, so we're gonna exec file WL copy with no options right here. Then, wait, I'm confused how this even works. Oh, that's because, okay, so the void, okay, so this is not a, sorry, my brain just went into old function definitions. This is not a function definition. This is clearly just, you put void. If you don't want to handle a promise, you put a void right here. Exec file, no throw, you do this thing, then R, if R equals 0, Linux copy equals W. If only there was a way to tell if something exists on your path. I guess you just gotta execute it, bro. Bro, there's only one way to be able to tell if something's in your path. You just have to execute it. Are we doing async or not? I never even I didn't even look at that. That's so funny. Oh my gosh, it is so funny. It doesn't even have to be this way. You could just await. Right? That's very funny. That's very, very funny. Right? Okay, anyways. All right, Claude Code says, thank you for reporting. I bet they'll scan this chat and see what bugs they need to fix immediately. Yeah, dude, that is so good. Let's see if there's any other good one. Oh, there's people arguing over this? I can't really say that for sure. The way human structure code isn't some ideal best possible state of a computer. It's the ideal organization of computer code for human coders. That's actually not true. So there's some actually really good reasons why this would be bad just off the rip. Whenever you have functions defined, like every single time this function gets effectively executed, there could be 21 closures that are created every time, even for things that doesn't actually ever get executed. And so there's all sorts of issues that end up happening that you cause a whole bunch of de-optimizations. There's limits to how often something can be jitted based on how long the function is. There's like all sorts of weird things that go on inside of, if you ever use, you should try it out. It's called like trace. You can do these trace events inside of V8, or I'm assuming JSC because I think they use JSC. You can also do that with JSC, and you can go and check out like what's happening. And so you can go, okay, it didn't optimize this function because the function's too large. Therefore, we're going to let it run, say, 1,000 times before we attempt to optimize something that was too big. The problem is when people say this, there's like a fundamental problem with this approach. Like, well, actually, that's just the way humans structure code, not computer code, right? Well, all optimizations are also thought of from code that was built by humans. And so, we observe that most functions are really small, and sometimes they get really large, and small functions tend to get called a bunch. Let's optimize around the fact that JIT should execute on the small functions because it's really cheap and you can't really perceive the value of things going right. Like this logic is not even good. Logic is logic. Humans made computers. I don't do this. It's just a crazy statement, right? Nesting and cyclomatic complexity are indicators. They aren't guaranteed to lead to worse outcomes. Let me think about that for a second. I have no idea. I don't think you can say that's true, right? Like, I think you could say that when it comes to small, like, oh, this thing has a cyclomatic complexity of 3 versus 2. That's probably true, but something with a cyclomatic complexity of 12, I don't know if the rules apply ad infinitum versus some small amount, right? If 2 of your 486 branch points are hit 99.99% of the time, that code is pretty dang efficient. I don't know if that's true. We're talking about V8 or we're talking about JSC. I don't know when JIT takes place. I don't know how it optimizes things. This is not something that optimizes your code, right? These things are a bit confusing. You can't just say this is better. Yeah, if it hits 2 of these functions, why is it one function at all? Exactly. Very, very interesting. Okay, so this argument I think is rather worst part is like bad cafe B. I kind of expect a little bit better bad cafe B. Come on, right? I don't purchase this at all. I was hoping to find some more here. Let's see if there's any more sweet code smells that we can get exposed to, because I was really enjoying it. If you want to look at all the spinner verbs, you can actually go to Wes Boss. He had there you go. Here's all the spinner verbs: accomplishing, actioning, actualizing, architecting, baking, beaming, bebopping, befuddling, bebopping, by the way. Why you taking my Ninja Turtling, okay? I don't like that. Befuddling, bewillowing, blanching, bloviating. I don't think bloviating is a positive term, right? Bloviating is like speaking a whole bunch in like an ignorant term, right? Speaking or writing in a long-winded, pompous, and pretentious manner, often saying very little of substance. Oh, I thought it was in a negative term, but no, it's actually just in a very lacking of value term. Oh my gosh, that's so funny. It fits so well. Oh my gosh, I did not realize how well bloviating actually fits into LLM code generation. So many lines of code, so little value. It is actually perfect. Okay, hey, hats off to you, Anthropic. Bloviating is in fact the correct thing. Boogieing, boondoggling, booping, bootstrapping, brewing, bunning, burrowing, calculating, canoodling. I thought canoodling had a sexual connotation. Kiss and cuddle, amorously. I thought it was like, you're not like getting it on, you're hitting first base though. Why is Claude Code hitting first base with me? I don't think I like that. I don't want to go to first base with Claude. Okay, I don't want my code to, you know what? Honestly, I'm a very strong believer in no canoodling your code before marriage, okay? I don't want to see any of that. All right, caramelizing, okay, cascading, catapulting, celebrate, or calibrating. Am I saying this word super stupid? Am I about to be embarrassed? I don't know if I know that word. No, I said calibrating. Think deeply about something. Ponder. Oh, wow.
Cerebrate.
Cerebrate. Huh. Okay. New word to me. Yeah, it's like cerebral. Yeah, I assumed it had something to do with the mind, but I didn't know what it was. Cerebrate. All right, hey, we learned something today. Cerebrate sounds like a Haskell term. It does sound like a Haskell term. True. All right, channeling with 2 L's. That's funny. Choreographing, churning, clotting, coalescing, cogitating. I don't know that word either. Wow, these are all words I don't even know. Cogitating, Cogitating is the formal present participle of the word cogitate. I don't know that word.
Cogitate.
Cogitate. Okay, so I did say it correctly. I just don't know how to. Bros, I cogitate. Someone never took Latin. I did not take Latin. I can only guess to what it means, right? I assumed it means with the mind. I just didn't know what it. I didn't take Latin. Okay, I can just guess. Combobulating. What does combobulating mean? I know what discombobulating means. Does that mean putting your head on? To be organized, calm, composed. Okay, so having, yeah, okay, so having, okay, yeah. Undiscombobulating, yeah. Time to lock in. It's locked in. Okay, I didn't know any of these words. Composing, computing, concocting, considering, contemplating, cooking, crafting, creating, crunching, crystallizing, cultivating, deciphering, deliberating, determining, dilly-dallying, discombobulating. That word doesn't really seem to fit, right? That'd be losing your head. All right, doing, doodling, drizzling, ebbing, affecting, elucidating, embellishing, enchanting, envisioning, evaporating, fermenting, fiddle-faddling, finagling. Oh my gosh, fellas. Flambeing, flibbert. Whoa, what is that word? Flibbertigibetting. Flibbertigibetting. Flibbertigibet. Flibberty-gibbet. A frivolous, flighty, or excessively talkative person. A flibberty-gibbet. Flibberty-gibberty. Dude, I've never heard that word. Flibberty-gibbet. Dude, that's a great word. Seriously, I hate all of these. I do. It's obviously undisflibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertibbertib Latin was the original one. Finagling, flambing, flibberty gibbeting, flowing, flummoxing. Again, why flummoxing? That doesn't make any sense. I'm feeling a bit flummoxed as your choice of flummoxing. One would assume you're making things that are about thinking, not confusion. Fluttering, forging, forming, frolicking, frosting, gallivanting, galloping, garnishing, generating, gesticulating. Yo, bros, I gesticulate pretty regularly. I just want to throw that out there. Germinating, jitifying. Is that jitifying or gitifying? In my head, I read it as git. Is that mean becoming stupid? I don't know what gitifying is. Gitifying. What is, oh my gosh, I put a G instead of that. Gitifying. Gitify. What is gitify? I don't know what that word means. Honestly, I don't know what that word means. I think that word is fake, right? A prairie dogged? Now that's a good one. What breed is your horse? They're not, we rent out our land. Or we don't rent out our land. We gift it to our neighbor. They have horses. So they come and hang out. Grooving, gusting, harmonizing, hashing, hatching, herding, honking, halabalooing, hyperspacing, ideating, imagining, improvising, incubating, inferring, infusing, ionizing, jitterbugging, julianing, kneading, leavening, levitating. Dude, I feel like, I hope there's no like super inappropriate words in here because I feel like I'm just gonna smash right into it. Lollygagging, which by the way, Anthropic, just to throw this out here, you know lollygagging is a military term for sucking dick, right? You do know that, right? Like, snafu doesn't mean like whoopsie poopsie. Okay, military terms, technically speaking, aren't usually that appropriate. So I didn't realize that your Claude's off sucking dick. Okay, cool. Military term? Yeah, we have a lot of military terms. Snafu, foobar, lollygagging. The kids are out there running. No lollygagging on duty. Yeah, no dick sucking on duty. That's what they're saying. Get out there. Dude, think about it just for a second. Like, it only takes like 1 second to think about lollygagging. Why are you gagging on a lol? Oh, damn. Yeah, that's dick sucking. Oh, damn. That right there. That's what that means. Very simple. It's a straight line. A to dick suck. Like, there's no in between there. There's no whoopsie poopsie. All right, let's try to see if we can get through more of these because there's just so many of them. Where okay, I just got done dick sucking. There we go. Manifesting, marinating, meandering, metamorphizing, misting, moonwalking, moosing, mossing, osmosing, osmosis, but this is like osmosing. I don't know that one. Perambulating, percolating, perusing, philophosizing, Philosophizing, photosynthesis. Dude, these are hard words. Pollinating, pondering, pontificating, pouncing, precipitating, prestidigitating. There's a lot of T's, D's, and G's, and I's, and A's. Prestidigitating. Oh, fuck! I can't even say the word. There's too many of them. There's just too many of them. I can't do it. Prestidigitating. All right. Photosynthesizing, pollinating, pondering, pontificating, pouncing, precipitating, oh, I already read that. Puzzling, quantumizing, razzle-dazzling, razzmatazing, recombobulating. No, that's kind of new. I didn't know you could read that, bad boy. Reticulating, roosting, ruminating, sautéing, scampering, schlepping, scurrying. Schlepping's a great one. Seasoning, shenaniganing, shimming, simmering, skedaddling. Well, that's a great word. Sketching, slithering, smooshing, sock hopping, spelunking, spinning, sprouting, stewing, subliminating. That's a weird word. Isn't sublimination? Isn't that like going from ice to gas? Isn't it skipping a stage? Right, okay. Yeah, solid to gas, okay. Okay, so I at least got the right idea. It's smoking weed and listening to Sublime. Hell yeah, brother. Swirling, swooping, symbioting, synthesizing, tempering, thinking, thundering, tinkering, tomfoolering, topsy-turvy. I don't really understand that one. Transfiguring, transmuting, twisting, undulating. Wow. Furling, unraveling, vibing. That one probably is the most sensible one. Waddling, wandering, warping, whatchamacalliting, whirlpooling, whirring, whisking, wibbling, working, wrangling, zesting, zigzagging. Okay, hey, that's kind of fun. Those are all the spinner verbs. I just had an interview with Wall Street Journal about spinner verbs. No way. Oh, that is cinema. That is so funny that the Wall Street Journal was like, get that man on the phone. Okay, this man's uncovered some of the big secrets at Claude Code.